Let us continue with the pin diagram of 8086. Firstly, let us go through the quick recap what we have discussed in the previous lecture. I have told you that 8086 is a 16-bit microprocessor, right? That was designed by Intel in the year 1978. It was the first 16-bit microprocessor in the market that was in 40 pin dual inline packaging, right? As you can see in this pin diagram, there are 40 pins in this IC, right? This is a 16-bit IC. That means the data bus, means the internal data bus of this IC is of 16 bits, right? Next thing is you can see the pins, pin number 16 to pin number 2, that is AD0 to AD14, and the pin number 39, that is AD15. This AD0 to AD15, they are dual function pins. That means anything that is coming on these pins, it can be a data, it can be an address, right? So how the processor distinguish between a data or an address? Now that is the question. So it is done with the help of ALE pin, which is known as address latch enable pin, which is the pin number 25 of this 886 microprocessor. If the ALE pin is 1, that means the address latch enable pin of this 8086 is on. That means the address bus is on. That means the AD0 to AD15 pins will work as A0 to A15 pins, right? Along with these 16 pins, there are 4 more address lines, A16 to A19. So comprising these 16 along with these 4 lines, right, this is a 20-bit address bus starting from A0 to A19. And if ALE is equal to 0, that means the address latch enable is off. Then AD0 to AD15 will work as D0 to D15, means it will be converted from address bus to the data bus, which is of 16 bits, right? So ALE pin helps the 8086 to distinguish what is coming on these pins, whether it is an address or it is a data. Next thing is, every microprocessor or every logical device needs a clock to operate. Now, what is the use of clock? Clock is used for synchronizing various internal processes of the microprocessor. So, the clock is given on the 19th pin. It is represented with the name CLK. So, it is used for synchronizing various internal processes of 8086 microprocessor, right? So what are the internal processes? The internal processes can be related to memory, for example, memory read or memory write. It can be related to input output devices, for example, input output read or input output write. Or it can be related to opcode also, that is known as the opcode fetch cycle. So for synchronizing these all processes, the 8086 needs clock, right? The next are the pin number 17th and the 18th pin. Before discussing these two pins, I want to discuss about interrupts. If you will remember, what is an interrupt? Interrupt is a request that is generated by an external device, right, uh, which wants the services of the microprocessor, right? So it is basically an interruption, right? So interrupt can be classified into two categories, maskable or non-maskable. Maskable interrupts are those which can be ignored, and non-maskable interrupts are those which cannot be ignored. This thing we have studied in 8085 also, right? So here I want to discuss those two interrupts, maskable and non-maskable. NMI is non-maskable interrupt, and INTR, which is known as interrupt request, is a maskable interrupt. Means any device that is connected on the NMI pin, if that device requests the 8085 for its services, then the 8085 has to process that interrupt, because it is a non-maskable interrupt. And if any device connected on INTR pin, which is interrupt request pin, which is a maskable interrupt, if it requests using the 18th number pin, right, so 8085 can ignore it or it can process it, because it falls under the maskable interrupt category, right? So these are the two pins. Now the thing is, if any device requests the 8085 for processing of an interrupt, now how the 8086, so how the 8086 requests, how the 8086 acknowledges the device whether his request has been accepted or not. It is with the help of INTA bar pin, which is the 24th number pin of this 8086 microprocessor. So any device which wants the services of 8085 will request the 8085 using the pin number 17th or 18th, and the 8085, if it is a yes, will reply back on the INTA bar pin, which is known as interrupt acknowledgement pin. If INTA bar pin is equal to 0, because it is an active low pin, which means if it is 0, then that means on, that means the interrupt has been acknowledged. And if it is 1, so this is off, so that means the interrupt has been disacknowledged. So there can be two values that can come on INTA bar pin. It can be 0, it can be 1. If it is 0, then the interrupt has been acknowledged, and if it is 1, then the interrupt has been disacknowledged. This is the meaning of INTA bar pin, right? So two interrupt pins, NMI, INTR, and for acknowledgement there is one pin, INTA bar pin. Next pin that I want to discuss is VCC and the ground pins. So this is a complete digital IC which needs plus 5 volt to operate. So plus 5 volt will be connected to VCC, and there are two ground pins, the pin number 1 and the pin number 2, so that will be connected to ground, right? Now next I want to discuss is the pin number 38 and 37. As you can see, it is A16, A17, right? And they can work as S3 and S4, right? So A16 and A17, I have previously told you, these are address lines, right? But they can work as S3 and S4, which are status lines also. Now, I'm not going to discuss about address lines. I'm going to discuss about S3 and S4. Now, the 8086, its memory is divided into different segments, right? If 8086 is working up with a memory, now how you can know that which segment is being accessed right now, right? So this S3 and S4 pins are used for knowing that which segment the 8086 is processing, right? So there are 4 segments, right? So that means that the complete memory is divided into 4 segments. So the first segment is known as the data segment, the other one is the stack segment, one is the extra segment, and the last one is the code segment. So using the S3 and S4 pins, you can know that which segment the 8086 microprocessor is currently accessing, right? So I will discuss this S3 and S4 pins. If S3 is 0 and S4 is 0, means both the pins are carrying a 0 potential on it. That means the processor is right now accessing the extra segment. If S3 is 0 and S4 is 1, then that means the processor is accessing the stack segment. And if S3 is 1 and S4 is 0, then that means it is accessing code segment. And if S3 is 1 and S4 is also 1, it is accessing the data segment. So there are 2 pins, right? So 2 pins means 4 combinations, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. For each combination, you can find out which segment the 8085 is accessing, right? Now the next pin is 36 pin, right? S5 pin. This is also a status pin. So this pin is for interrupt flag, right, which tells the value of the flag. If the S5 is having a value 1, that means the interrupt flag is on. That means there is an interrupt, right? And the 8085 is still processing that interrupt. And if this value is 0, means the value on S5 pin is 0, then that means there is no interrupt. This is the meaning of the S5 pin. Next pin that I want to discuss is the ready pin, which is the pin number 22 of this microprocessor. Now what is the use of ready pin? Now ready pin, suppose 8086 is exchanging data with some device which is suppose this type of communication is asynchronous, it is not synchronous, means that device is operating at some different frequency, and this 8086 is operating at some different frequency. So how the synchronization will be established? It is with the help of ready pin. So that this ready pin will be connected with that device, and whenever 8086 wants to transmit some data to that device, this ready pin will be used for sensing or for checking the status of that device, whether that device is ready to receive the data or that device is not ready to receive the data. For example, 8085 wants to transmit a 16-bit data. So if the ready pin that is connected to that device is having a value 1 on it, that means the device is ready to accept the data. So the 8086 can transmit the data to that device. And if the value of the ready pin is 0, that means that device is not ready, it cannot accept data. Maybe it is accepting some previous data that has been sent by the 8086 microprocessor. So the ready pin is used for maintaining synchronization between the devices that are attached with the 8086 microprocessor. Now the next pin that I want to discuss is the BHE pin, BHE bar pin. So it is an active low pin because it is having a bar on it, right? So that means if it is 0, then BH is on, and if it is 1, then BH is off. Now what is the full form of BHE? BHE means bus high enable. The combination of the BHE signal and the S7 signal tells the existence of the data on the bus. Also, different combinations show whether the bus is containing an overall 16-bit upper byte or lower byte of the data, right? For example, what I want to tell you is this: the BHE is used along with the S7 pin to know that right now the 8086 is accessing how much bits of information. If BH is 0 and S7 is also 0, that means all 16 bits will be accessed. And if BH is 0 and S7 is 1, that means upper byte of the 16-bit is being accessed. If BH is 1, means BH is off, right? And S7 is 0, that means bus high enable is off. That means right now it is accessing lower byte will be accessed, okay? And if BH is off, means 1, and S7 is also 1, that means right now it is in idle state. So BHE tells that the processor is accessing what type of data, whether it is accessing upper byte of the data, or it is accessing lower byte of the data, or it is accessing the complete 16 bits, right? So this is the meaning of BHE pin. Next, I want to discuss the 33 number pin, that is MN, and the MX bar pin, right? So what I want to tell you before discussing this pin is the 8086 microprocessor can operate in two different modes. One is known as a maximum mode and the other one is known as a minimum mode. In case of minimum mode, there is only one processor that is attached with there is only one processor, that is the 8086, right? And in case of maximum mode, when more than one processors are attached with 8086, then it is working in maximum mode. Means in minimum mode there is only one 8086, in maximum mode there can be more than one 8086. Now the pin number 24 to 31, these can work in minimum as well as in maximum mode. If it is a minimum mode, then the pin number 24 to 31 will be INTA bar, ALE. You can see those pins that are written over there, right? DEN bar, DTR slash R bar, M slash IO bar, write, HLDA, hold. And if it is in maximum mode, then the pins will be QS1, QS0, S0 bar, S1 bar, S2 bar, so on to pin number 31. You can see those pins, right? So it can work in two different modes. That is why this 33 pin is a dual function pin. If it is 1, then that means MN is active because it is not having a bar on it. That means it is an active high pin, right? So MN is on means right now the 8086 is working in maximum mode, right? And if it is 0, then that means mx bar is on, that means it is working in minimum mode. So the pin number 33 decides whether the processor is right now working in maximum mode or it is in minimum mode, right? So I will discuss the pins of maximum mode and the minimum mode after some time. Let us finish through the other pins that are common in both the modes, right? The next pin is the 21st pin, that is the reset pin, right? So what is a reset pin? You already know, if you are resetting 8086, right, so you have to give a signal, right, to 8086, which will tell the 8086 that the user has requested a reset operation. Reset is also like an interrupt, right? So it is pin number 21st, right? You can see it is a active high pin, there is no bar on this pin. So if this pin is connected to VCC, this will reset the 8086 microprocessor, right? Now the next pin is the test bar pin, right? So test bar pin is basically used for inserting wait states. If the test bar pin is on, then that means 8085 will stop the processing and it will enter the wait state, means the idle state. It will not perform anything. And if the test bar is off, that means it is having a logic 1 on it. That means the processor will continue its normal operation. So test pin is used for inserting wait states, or it can be used for normal operation of the 8086 microprocessor. So this is all about the 8086 microprocessor. The pins I have discussed are common in both the maximum and the minimum modes. In the next video I will be discussing about these two modes, that is the maximum and the minimum modes. Thank you.